The Wawa Cup Series, one of YouTube's premier offline stock car racing events, is back for 2025 in a bigger and better way. This year marks the 10th anniversary since the series started, and it's clear to me that AG wants this season to outdo all the rest before it. There's a lot of new, with the number of cars entered into qualifying expanding from 40 to 50, 42 drivers getting to start on race day from last year's 40, and 2 extra races bumping the schedule from 30 to 32. In the end, 36 drivers will enter each race automatically, with the last 6 determined by qualifying results, and the top 10 drivers plus 2 wildcards after 22 races will advance to a 10-race playoff known as the Chase. The driver and constructor with the most points after 10 races will be declared their respective champions and take home the channel's biggest prize, a Wawa Cup Series title. Hi, I'm Eddie Debs, and in this guide to the 2025 season, I'll introduce you, or for some of you, go into more depth, to the 36 racers who will automatically qualify for every race and have the best chance to advance to the Chase and eventually win the championship. We'll start with the 30 returning drivers, and since we've got a lot to get through, let's get started. So going in alphabetical order may not have meant we get off to a big start. Then again, you podiumed twice at Rockingham and Watkins Glen, you just never put together a good string of races to make your best finishes matter towards a championship. You also didn't improve from your 2023 finish, but Ryan Durrani is giving you another shot as he resets his team, and I think you can benefit from that. Just don't finish below 28th again, or I will have stronger words come 2026. I'm going to start by saying this. You did actually deserve to win at Bristol the way your car was performing in the first half of the season. However, going from 4 top 5 finishes in the first 10 races to 0 in the Chase made me think that you just used up all your luck points to get a win and fell off shortly afterwards. You're in the same car as last year, but your owner went out and got a driver who made the Chase as your teammate, so you'll need to turn this outside chance into something more if you want to re-sign with Millennium next year. I think you can do it. Prove me right. The channel's resident Mr. AA. After your Sprint Series championship last year, you immediately went out and got a dub in your first race at Homestead. But the rest of your regular season went downhill fast. Nevertheless, your persistence got you a top 20 points finish with a lot of good runs late in the Chase. You have a nice chance to make the Chase this season, and I'm sure Andrew would do anything to get you there, if nothing else but to get back at Hirgel for letting you walk. I'd say stay committed, but your weekly messages in both Discord and YouTube shows you already are, so just keep doing what you're doing. Hey Beefo, glad you're back. Yeah, there's not much for me to say for a driver whose best finish was at a super speedway and whose best streak of races came in the middle of a Chase that, well, you weren't in. However, you do have a new home at Rut Racing, albeit with a teammate that finished 9 spots ahead of you in 2024. Improvement is the key to meeting your expectations at the moment, so try your best and hope Joe is patient if success doesn't find you immediately. I have 3 words for you, Blaine. I don't care. I don't care that you tied the record for most wins on the channel in a calendar year. I don't care that you've never finished below 4th in a series. I don't care that you won the 2024 Truck Series, and I don't care that you moved to a team for 2025 with more prestige than your old one. You had a 22-point lead for the Drivers' Championship as you crossed the start line at Darlington for the final race of the 2024 Cup season, and you sold it so badly that the final gap was 6 points. As in, you dropped 28 points to your championship rival. I wonder where I've heard that number before. To put it mildly, if you are not in championship contention when Darlington rolls around this year, this season will be much more than disappointing, it will be a failure. Now don't act like the Falcons and make 2024 your one shot at ever winning the Wawa Cup Series, or you won't like what I have to say next January. Have fun! I legitimately cannot give you any notes about 2024 that were not your fault. Hell, the fact that you managed to finish second in a race with how your owner treated the team as a whole is impressive. You and your teammate were handed a heaping load of trash by someone who left before the consequences really got to him, leaving your teammate to take control and you both to clean up his mess. With Durrani hitting the reset this year, I will continue to hope that this former series champ can stage a massive comeback season and have a good run. Please do. I don't want to write a bad word about you come 2026. It would feel wrong. You were the only chase driver in 2024 to not get your car into victory lane. I can't decide whether to call you consistent or unlucky, but I can call you a great driver, as this makes back-to-back top 10 finishes in the Wawa Cup Series despite being on the outside looking in with 2 races left in the regular season. However, you did jump ship from Team Williams to Millennium, so I would worry more about a playoff three-peat than getting that ever-elusive win this year. Then again, maybe 3 is your magic number. I don't really know what to say about you, Bruno. Winning the preseason Mellow Yellow race was obviously your highlight of the season, and you had a streak of good finishes here and there, but when it all amounts to 24th, it's hard not to just call you mid and walk away. Nevertheless, with Trinity River shutting down, you have a new owner in Reggie Fogelman as well as a new teammate, so just do what you can. No one is putting you down as a chase contender, but you're in the same car as someone who did make the final 12 in 2024. Just saying. Well, speaking of Trackhouse and Reggie Fogelman, you certainly had some choice words for him last season, as your horrible first 5 races were wiped away by an incredible second half of the season that still came up short for a playoff spot. 18th is good for a rookie season, however, no matter what. And your new owner got a car in the chase last season, so maybe this is the year that you break through. I'll finish with one of your recent quotes. Time to shock the world. For the sake of next year's video, I really hope you do. Consistency is a key to success in the Wawa Cup Series, and Bryon Webb proved he had it in 2024. You had more top 15 finishes than not in the first 20 races, and you spent nearly the whole season in the top 10 before a string of bad luck cost you a spot in the chase. A win would have put you in, but I can't think of a race where you were at fault for not winning, so this was ultimately a great season for you. You'll be running for a spot in the chase this year, obviously, but you're driving the car Blaine Keyes took to 6 wins in 2024, which means it's required that you pull out a very similar season to last year, lest people regard you as just another one-hit wonder. Ooh boy, DPJ, did you have a season of all seasons. Your win in Atlanta was a piece of an early hot streak that would eventually give you the second wildcard spot to the chase, of which you horrifically squandered with no top 10 finishes that left you 12th out of 12 playoff drivers. Despite this, your jump to Velocity means you are now the face of the Grattan Young Guns program, as I want to call it, and that means the chances of you improving your finish this season are definitely higher than most others. Have fun with all this newfound pressure to succeed, I guess. Drew, I have one word to say to you that I really want you to understand for this upcoming season. Complacency. I know 2024 wasn't trophyless as you took home the Pro Series title, but your Cup performance felt like you were reading off the 2023 script where you pulled a Washington Nationals and went from a terrible start to a Drivers' Championship, and not the one you were supposed to read. As one would expect, the sequel didn't live up to the original with an 8th place finish, yet you still managed to sign with the Grattan Empire because you're a proven champion. I'll just say this. If you make it 3 in a row with another lackluster first half performance, you probably won't return to driving for Grattan in 2026. Remember, you're a number 2 driver now, so you better drive like one before the seat beneath you starts heating up. Welcome to the show, rookie. It's your first season ever on the channel with a new, albeit experienced owner, so just roll with the punches. And what do you mean you finished 6th? Yeah, a win in 3 podiums in the first 10 races was a start that rivaled the Vegas Golden Knights, and 9 top 20s in the 10 playoff races should have put you in contention if Ludo and Blaine weren't winning every other race. You clearly carried this momentum into trucks with a strong season there, but given how much Echo wants to beat Grattan this year, you cannot go into a sophomore slump. Just do what you did last year and hope circumstances fall in your favor. Other than that, you should be good. I think. So, with all given respect, are you washed? You've won 2 series on the channel, including winning this one 10 years ago, but you finished in the top 10 twice last Wawa Cup Series. Heck, only 4 years ago you finished 2nd overall in the Wawa Cup Series. Your veteran status precedes you, thankfully, so Derek Hamill is happy to give you another shot after Trinity River shut down. However, I have a feeling that with one more down year like the past few, you'll be looking into the uncharted rides for the 2026 season. Is 2025 the last ride for one Mr. Jesse Turner? We'll just have to see. Remember when I said consistency is key in the Wawa Cup Series? Well, Justin Zajdel is the prime example of how to be consistently mid. One top 5 all year means you finish 21st for the second straight Cup season, and you fall off from 2019 IndyCar champion to 22nd this past year. It's put your career on something that's not quite a spiral, but certainly downward. Maybe changing to Dracoan will help out your chances, but you'll need a top 20 finish overall this season to stay relevant in Cup at all. So use some of that veteran experience you got and just go get yourself some better finishes. There's a lot I can say about your season. From the fact you won 2 races out of 20 but still needed the wild card to make the playoff, to having a legit shot at the title with 4 races left only to have one bad race at Richmond take your hopes away. However, this was your first season ever on the channel, and with Echo behind you, you made the absolute most of it. Clean up the inconsistent finishes that acted as a blight to your playoff hopes last year, and you'll be a much bigger threat in 2025. It was really hard to write this segment without a Bell pun, so I hope you show as much pride in yourself as I feel right now and ring in the new season with a hot start. There seems to be a yin-yang situation going on with you, Laura. In 2022, you took 2nd in trucks, but fell to 32nd in the Cup Series the following year. Then you dropped to 14th in trucks, but then improved to 20th in Cup. You finished 9th in the 2024 Truck Series, so by law or this weird sum of numbers coincidence, you should finish somewhere about 25th this year. But Rut Racing had a marginally better season last year than your old team, so maybe you can lift the curse and get into the chase this year. At least put up some semblance of an attempt. You can't be a Truck Series merchant your entire career. I think this was a disappointing season for you, despite the fact that you won the Daytona 500, the first win of your career on the channel. Granted, you probably would have made the chase if not for your inability to make the top 10 between races 9 and 20. 17th isn't too far of a fall from 9th place in 2023, and 5 top 5 finishes means you can probably pencil yourself in as a contender, especially now that you can call yourself Igor Barreto's number 1 driver. Just don't fall outside the top 20 in the end, and I can call it a bounce-back season if you make the playoffs. With a low-stress environment around this guy, the 71 car should be a fun one to watch this season. While Andrew calling you a terrorist was a bit out there, you were very accident-prone in 2024, which was the major factor in you not making the chase. This has to weigh on your mind, since you got a regular season win at Gateway, and then 3 top 5s in the 10 chase races, so you were geared for a top 10 finish overall alongside your teammate if you had made it. That being said, my notes have you not finishing outside the top 20 in any major series so far, which is clearly why Caleb kept the team together for 2025. Don't forget, Logan, that if Caleb decides to make a change, it's you, not Nicholas, who's on the chopping block. So do not, under any circumstances, make Caleb's choice an easy one. The closer you get to the fire, the more you'll get burned when all is said and done. The Man-Eater strikes again. Yes, that's the nickname I made up for you, and yes, it's negotiable whether I ever use it again or not. Please don't kill me. I am rather happy you won after that wonderful display of humility post-Watkins Glen, where you stated you'd be mediocre in the final 4 races of the season, only to finish top 5 in 3 of them and win at Darlington to pass Blaine in points and win the whole dang thing. You're now catching Samudio in terms of your channel resume, and Stewart clearly sees you as his number 1 from here on out. So keep your foot on the gas and do what you do best. You're the odds-on favorite now. Please don't let it get to your head. Despite some early hiccups, Matthew was primed for a chase spot with a ridiculously good second half of the regular season, only to come up just short due to lacking a finish in victory lane. Stewart and Matt saw a lot of talent in this rookie with his consistent top 10 finishes all across the Wawa Cup Series season, so you'll be racing in the Grattan camp alongside the driver who just edged you out of the playoffs last year. You should have a few goals this season, from a win to a playoff spot to perhaps some revenge on DPJ, but we'll see how you can focus yourself and whether or not you go through a sophomore slump. With your talent level, anything's possible. The resident living legend of AG the channel finally gets his due. In my book, Mr. Edge has a new, slightly less cool sounding nickname, Mr. Podium. The only time you've ever finished outside the top 3 overall in a series on the channel, or where your control over how your car raced was very limited. However, those equal rating series, as we call them, are also where you won your only major championship back in 2018. So you'll need to host a title sooner rather than later before people start asking questions about your legacy. Other than that, you could probably get a seat on a team until 2050, so I have no notes on what you should do otherwise. Keep up your legend status, I guess? Shouldn't be too hard. After 2 great seasons in the Sprint Series and Truck Series, Phillip seemed destined for a good run in his first Cup attempt, but he never found his footing outside of Road America at Martinsville. 23rd is pretty mediocre, but I can see if this was a sort of sophomore slump or just some jitters. Regardless, you moved from a team that had no playoff drivers to a team with 1 in the offseason, so you'll need to prove yourself to Hirschel as his number 2 lest you look into different options for 2026. Maybe you can find that 2023 magic, or maybe you'll sputter back into the midfield. We'll see as the season progresses. For any new viewers currently learning about the Wawa Cup Series for the first time, please meet the channel's resident Sisyphus, still pushing that metaphorical boulder up the mountain. It's worse that this applies to both your lack of wins so far in your career and your Cup performance, as you've now finished 25th in back-to-back seasons. That being said, you still have a ride and others don't, and you're in the same car as last year, so maybe you can take advantage of some inexperienced opposition, find the consistency you show in trucks every year, and make yourself more of a playoff threat. Do I think you'll win a race this series? No, but only so I can repeat this script next year. You're a pretty cool dude outside of that. Whoever keeps arguing that the European mind cannot comprehend NASCAR has never met Rogal Dorn. Or at least the Rogal we saw in the first 24 races of the season. 3 dominant wins put you first in the playoffs with 6 races to go, and then Road America took away your lead, and Watkins Glen took away your spirit. However, 9th is still your best finish on the channel, and Derek is clearly keeping you as his number 1 driver, so I have high hopes that this European Warhammer will make it back to the 2025 chase when all is said and done. Should I start with this? You know what, I will. Congratulations, Tanner! You just won the best Bonka Wait. A cease and desist? Already? Well, so much for this bit. Yeah, the fact that your season highlight was getting T-boned into a gymnastics full routine by, of all people, your teammate is pretty bad. But given the circumstances, I can't say much else for your season. Add your top 20 finish in 2023, and it's pretty obvious that it was your owner and not you who were to blame for your dead last finish. Just don't waste the chance Nathan gave you this year, and you should be set for the next couple of years. I really don't want to talk about how many times I've rewatched the crash, so can we please cut this part? Another superstar of the channel making his presence felt for 2025. Last year was probably the finest of your career, with an IndyCar driver's title and several race wins over multiple series, but I think both of us know what you're really here for. You took home the regular season championship in WCS 2024 after leading for half the season, but immediately stumbled out of the gate despite a win at Chicagoland and ended up 5th, down from 2023 where you finished 3rd. I know you want this title on your resume, and it seems Brennan is gearing up for a war against Grattan by bringing in Keyes, so all you really have to do is stick with your teammate and you'll be in the title hunt from New Smyrna till Darlington. So, with all that in mind, it's time to find out if 2025 is truly the year of Trox the Ox. I'll see you on the other side. You seem to have issues in the 2024 Cup season, especially after you made the playoffs in 2023 and ultimately couldn't make a return journey. Despite this, you showed off some talent late and got yourself a win at Michigan, pulling yourself back into the top 15 by the end of the season. I can't say much else about you, except that you really should have won the Pro Series over Drew Webb. Regardless, Nathan kept you in the same car as last year, so try and get back to the playoffs this year and you should be all set. Another veteran of the channel, only this one has a few more wins up his sleeve. Your annual win, as it seems, and first Cup win since the reboot came at Rockingham, which was enough to put you at 7th going into the chase. You then proceeded to get in a few wrecks that sunk your overall finish down to 11th. but you're a clear number 1 driver whose only expectation is to be a playoff contender. I will warn you though, don't get ahead of yourself. I've already named the few drivers who would be happy to rob you of a playoff spot, so keep your mistakes to a minimum and lock in your spot as early as you can. I'll see you in 2026. Oh boy, did this legend of the channel have a rough season. 30th place, a rarity to be anywhere near the top 10, and you somehow improved from your 2023 Cup performance. At this point, you seem to do better when you're not racing in the Wawa Cup Series, but Igor has faith that you'll bounce back to your old ways as the Drew Webb replacement, so run with this opportunity and at least try to make a top 20 finish out of it. I mean, you let Samudio get to 30 wins before you, so you're totally not losing your edge, right? Answer that question and come back to me in a year. Well, that's all of the drivers returning from 2024. Now it's time for the 6 newbies to get what I hope to be a very short section since I have 0 relevant film for them. However, before I do that, I have one small question for the 18 team owners. Why did Ace Garcia not get signed? They're telling me that everyone, and I mean everyone, blamed all of his car's mechanical issues on him, the driver. Okay then. Well, with him and Juan Romero not getting signed, there are 2 extra spots for new drivers this year, which means there's gonna be someone who sneaks their way into a ride and... Why do I hear bagpipes? Oh no. Oh god. Oh no, not him. Please no. Oh, Well, so much for this section being short. For any new viewers watching this, Duncan is my client that I have been working to get into this series for the past year. And believe me when I tell you that he is ill-prepared, lacking in all sorts of talent, and probably the least mature driver on the grid. I've been told a bazillion times that Duncan won a race with a bad team in a poorly made truck, so of course he'll be good in the Cup Series, but I have seen the real Duncan, and I'm here to tell you that the worst is yet to come. There's a reason I call him the Scottish Terminator, and I'm afraid that this Scotsman is going to dunk himself into the outside wall more than he dunks the competition. I'd say, do me proud, but I have a feeling that I'll be prouder of getting you into this series than your actual performance. See you in the garage after you wreck out at New Smyrna. Lured back to the channel by the Grattan Empire, this old-timer was last seen back in 2018, winning 4 Cup races before vanishing. He hasn't finished top 3 in any series or event ever, but as we've seen before, a veteran is still a threat no matter what. So maybe you'll surprise people, or you'll get absolutely blindsided by the new rating system. Your choice in the end. So, the 10th year anniversary of AG the channel is coming up in April, which means the first race was back in 2015. Since then, Christian Master has recorded a race win in 7 of the 9 calendar years this channel has been posting them. Add a marquee win in the second ever Indy 250 and a top 20 spot on the all-time wins list, and this guy is basically a certified legend. However, the question remains, can you teach an old dog new tricks, or in this case, new ratings? We'll find out by July. Lenard Kocsmar went from just another Sprint Series driver to what might be the first driver to be formally invited by AG to the Pro Series without winning a championship ever, all in the span of about 4 months. Despite a winless second-place finish in THTS 2024, I'm unsure of whether your talent can shine when you're not inside one of the best cars on the grid. But then again, this is also the same guy who thought you'd win a race in a truck before Duncan would, so maybe I don't know what I'm doing. We'll know once Chicagoland rolls around. 0 wins to your name is not the best of resumes, but I have a feeling that Nathan knows what he's doing. Try and stand out against the talent all around you, and we'll likely see you back in 2026. Yeah, I've got nothing else for you. Don't disappoint yourself, I guess. No wins to this driver's name either, except this one has a chip on his shoulder after watching a fellow member of the Archville Racing Academy finish top 20 in the 2024 Truck Series. I'm assuming that the Academy owner is sharing the strategy around, so I imagine you'll perform at least near the level of your compatriot. I don't think you have high hopes like the rest of the rookies, but I think that's better than high expectations, so roll with what you got and try to set yourself up for 2026. You should be alright. And that's it. The Mellow Yellow Shootout drops January 31st, and the Cup Series will kick off at Auto Club the week after. To those racing in the 10 uncharted cars or going for the 4 hot seats through the Sprint Series, I wish you luck in attempting to qualify for the main show. For the 36 drivers I've gone over in this video and the 18 team owners, I hope you don't get bulldozed by Duncan. That's really all I can say at this point. I want to thank the channel in general. not just for allowing me to fulfill a lifelong dream and call several of the Pro Series races, but also for the support and community that I get to be a part of. I've said it before, but I think you know you're in the right place, or even the team creating a Tom Brady-level dynasty across all series are just as, if not more, humble and respectful to others than everyone else. If you happen to be someone new to NR 2003 or otherwise, and managed to get sent here by the algorithm, and you want to join, I'll link AG the channel to the description. There will be a Discord invite that you can use to get in, no strings attached, I promise. Other than that, I might send out a community post that's like everyone's regular season in 10 words or less, but I would say not to expect another video like this until early 2026, because I'd rather this be an annual occurrence so I can focus on other aspects of my life over the course of a year. Likes, comments, and subscribing will most likely help motivate me to make next year's guide better, so those would be appreciated. God, I'm already sounding like a YouTuber. I've got nothing else for y'all, so until next time, I'm Eddie Debs. Have a nice day.